Don't panic, the grid is different, but this is how it works for race number 3. An extra 4 laps added to the distance to Lee Bowler and Brendan Tucker will start from pole position here today. Michael Rinken and Jeff Waters, Craig Thompson and Maddie Dunstan got her best result yesterday with a 10th in race number 2. Joel Heinrich and Ben Walsh starting down in the 5th row, back to Tressida and Woods. Blake Skibberus and Jay Robson, the winner of the first 2 races here this weekend. Thompson and Stevenson, who copped a penalty, putting back 8 positions to start from 16. And Emma Clark and Charlotte Pointing down to the likes of Sam Chester and Ross Higgins, who had that incident in race number 2. Well, we might be nice and dry in our commentary box here at Symmons Plains, but a guy that's going to be out there in the elements is Cameron Vandendung. We say good morning to you.
Don't worry, I'll do the hard yards for you boys out here. Don't worry about that, guys. Now, if you actually have a look at most of these cars, you can see the ducting on the outside. This is a makeshift measure. Bugs, you talked before about the fogging up of the windscreens. Well, most of them have made a little makeshift measure here where they've got some ducting that blows air directly onto the screens. Hopefully that helps, but geez, there's a lot of water out there.
Cameron, have you spotted any of these sticks with a rag on the end? I saw them all this morning. They were making them to try and put them in the cars.
Yeah, I tell you what, Bugs, you remember what it's like when you had all that screen go on. You really wish you could reach the screen, but it's just that little bit too far, isn't it? Occasionally, though, you could get the back of the glove to it. No, I have not seen anyone with a rag on a stick.
So, yeah, obviously, as Cameron alluded to, trying to tape the cars up. There's a lot of water getting inside the cars. Once the brakes are hot, the car's hot, it turns into steam, and then the windscreen goes. And once the windscreen goes, you just cannot see anything. So it's really critical to try and get the vision right. There's ducts, there's air, they're taped up every little nook and cranny. But of course, there's open windows on these cars. So yeah, I did see Kel Tressida had a stick there. They were taping a rag to it. So in a safety car, he might get that one out and try and clean the windscreen.
Last car's coming into position now. There's your front row, Tucker and Lee Bowler, who had an incident during practice and qualifying, and we're away. It's going to be very treacherous down to turn number 1 for the first time. It was yesterday in damp conditions, but this is the first time we've had vehicles on the circuit today, and those pools of water, they'll catch you at the very last second.
It's obviously on the control kit at Kumo tyres, so it's obviously interesting to see that they've never really experienced this tyre in these types of conditions before. So there's going to be a bit of exploratory for them. You can see the standing water everywhere. So they're bouncing through the puddles. These little Aussie race cars, they don't like the puddles too much, I can assure you.
Down to turn 4 with the 4 machine leading to Brendan Tucker, who goes, well, look at that river of water running down the banks at turn number 4. Is everybody going to get through? They take it so easy on this first lap. So Tucker driving away from the field. It's out to nearly half a second already as everybody chooses the right line on lap number 1.
Lee Bowler's not letting him go, though, is he? He's trying to go with him, and we saw yesterday, this is where the big toe starts to play effect at the end of the back straight. Lee Bowler there, not sure where to brake. They're trying to explore, trying to find a bit of grip out there at the moment. Tucker's going to take the inside line. Lee trying the outside. There's a puddle. We've got one off already. Car 71.
Rinken has gone off and collected our braking marker down there towards turn number 6. And you see Tucker, the way the car just got caught up in that puddle, would have just dragged all the speed out of number 4 and puts him back to 3rd spot now.
Here comes James Duckworth. Where did he start on the grid? He was about 8th or 9th or something on the grid, and he's already found his way up to battling for the lead. So Joel Heinrich in there as well.
It's going for the lead.
We were talking to the guys this morning, one of the problems they were suffering down the back straight through turn 5 is where the car gets very light. In these conditions, quite easily the car steps out. We saw Jay Robson have a big moment there yesterday, and there's Chivas. He's got the car buried, unfortunately.
It's on the exit to turn 7, and there's the Musselbrook Yamaha entry of Michael Rinken. Nissan Financial Services on the front of the 71 car. He's limping away from the scene, but Shivers trying to get that car back moving.
Duckworth already in the lead, looking at the timesheet there. Now he's got no one in front of him, so what a great job. 1 lap into it, starting lap 2 in the lead. We've got a car across the middle of the circuit. So obviously the safety car boards will be pulled out here. No, they're not. They're just going to run with the yellow flag. So it's not a good position for that car to be in, that's for sure.
It's grab reverse right now, and he's backing out of position, but a high-speed approach. It's okay for the first couple of cars here, but once you get back to 10th and 11th, there's a lot of spray, and thankfully, the man from Musselbrook has backed out of the scene there and let the field go by.
And that's one of the challenges. The reverse in these cars is actually a little electric motor. They press the button. It's a little starter motor that they use the gearing and turn the car backwards. You can see there, the rear of the car's just got light, and away he goes. He's just a passenger.
Seemed to go on forever, didn't it? Down into turn number 6, this will be Ian Shivers, the yellow and blue Stiltgate entry. Going for a shot at Ruth Bowler, filling up the cockpit of car number 9. So lots of water on the inside of turn 6. They'll learn that from the first lap. and drive well away from the curbs here. Lap number 3 is an 18-lap race, of which we're yet to get a full race in the books in the Aussie racing cars, and they're not alone in that department.
So let's look at that at the moment. James Duckworth has opened up a big lead. He's 2 seconds a lap faster than every other car in the field at the moment, so he's quite confident in these conditions. It's Joel Heinrich who's come up as well. He's now currently running in P2. Lee Bowler, who started on that front row of the grid, is in 3rd, and Skibiris has now found himself into 4th. Ben Walsh coming up through the field as well. And these are the guys we expect to see towards the front. Woods and Jay Robson, they had a great battle yesterday. Kel Tressiter, he's into 6th at the moment. So this sort of conditions is what I love about these conditions. They even the field out, and it's about making the most of what you've got, understanding where the grip is and driving the car nice and smooth. It's like a sunny day in Snetterton in England, isn't it?
Out they come out of turn number 6. The margin 5 seconds between Duckworth and rookie Joel Heinrich, who's been very impressive as expected. The son of Bruce Heinrich, who was known for a long, long time in HQ and saloon car racing. He's done a stint in HQs himself and spent the summertime racing a wingless sprint on the dirt tracks around Australia, and now stepping up into the car that Luke Fraser drove at the first round in Adelaide.
The Control Kumo tyre they're on has a lot of different types of groove and blocks on it. The outside of the tyre wears pretty quickly and turns into a bit of a semi-slick. So if you run a new tyre, it gets rid of the water. And some of the guys were quite surprised. They actually were a bit concerned about its quality in the wet. But it really proved yesterday in greasy conditions to be fantastic. And again, here we can see that these guys are firing through those puddles, and the cars are doing a great job.
Craig Woods on the charge right now. He's up to 7th position. Kel Tressiter, who started in 12th spot, is now up to 5th. As down the inside goes Woods, getting a bit tail happy through turn number 5. The Kia Penrith number 64, it's still not done. That must be frightening in these conditions.
Hold it flat and hold on. That's the part of it that's a lot of fun in these types of conditions. So, yeah, and what you do in these sorts of situations, the spray's really bad here down in Tasmania. Look at that gap that Duckworth's gained already. Heinrich there trying to get on the throttle, but the spray's very, very difficult. So what you got to do is hope that everyone's doing the similar thing to you, because you don't want to be running the back of someone.
No! Oh, he's just going to pull this car up. Is he? Yes. Good save for Ben Walsh in car number 2. So we start lap number 5. Let's head down to pit lane.
The ducting hasn't been working for a lot of these drivers. Just had Tucker into the lane, wiping down the windscreen as we've got more on-track action.
That's Thompson who's gone around thanks to Cam in pit lane. And we're going yellow here. Safety car is coming out. I just saw the flashing lights out of our commentary box window. Unsurprisingly, the 78 of Grant Thompson has lost the bonnet. They need to keep the engine cool on a day like this. We're seeing a really bad position. So the 7-second margin Duckworth to Heinrich is now 0 as the Porsche safety car comes out on lap 5.
As Cameron alluded to there, I noticed in some of those shots that you could see the way that the windscreens had fogged up in these cars. And once you get to that point, you just can't see. It's just impossible. So one option you have is to come into pit lane and get it cleaned up. You can see there the ducting on Duckworth. He's trying to get it directed to the screen, get the airflow over it. Look at the water
flowing in.
that's coming into that car.
More replays happening here. Could this be Thompson in the background and lost it on his own? And lucky with the Rinker car. Look at the puddle he found on the inside too, and that's where the bonnet parted ways and right in a really dangerous position.
That's that little part of the circuit I talked about. There's a little crest there.
Oh.
You can see with Walsh, you can see that screen's almost gone. It's almost impossible for him to see out of that. Yesterday he had this sort of moment.
Yeah.
Dropped the wheel onto the greasy stuff, but today he's managed to gather it all up, sideways over the hump, and has done a great job to actually pull that car up and not run off the road. Look at the
Incredible
water.
shots. There is so much water out there down in turn number 1 at the moment. So the Porsche Cayenne safety car comes out and stacks up this field. Lap 6 of 18. I was expecting a lot more in those first few laps. They drove very, very well. I mean, a couple of cars got caught out, but nowhere near the carnage we're expecting.
Look at that water coming off the tyre there. That's amazing, isn't it? So that's an indication of that tread pattern I talked about. But the way it's pumping that water out, we've got standing water everywhere, and that tyre's doing a great job at the moment. So the screen's going to be the big thing. I mean, we looked at Joel Heinrich's car there in that safety car condition. You can just see that he's going to struggle to actually see on the restart and follow Duckworth. But Duckworth was certainly the man to beat.
Yeah, Bargs, another couple of adjustments these guys have made for conditions today. They soften these cars right up so they can get good drive. They also take as much of the negative camber out as possible. Look at these conditions out here. They are absolutely shocking. We talked about it yesterday, but they really do inflate the pressures of the tyres. And Bargs, you can give us a bit of insight to the karting days when they really pump them up to get that crest or that crown in the middle of the tyre.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of different theories on the way to go about setting the car up for the wet, and obviously softening it off is a good way to go. That's one of the first things you try and do. Get the car, because obviously it doesn't generate the grip, so you want it to roll and load the tyre. One of the problems you then have is, how do you get the tyre to work? Do you get it up to temperature? Some guys pump the tyre up, really open up that, they really pump the tyre up, they put 20 extra pound in it and really open up that tread pattern to try and get most of the water away. And what it does, it also reduces the contact patch that's actually touching the road. So therefore the load of the car, there's more load of the car on that contact patch, which helps generate temperature and helps cut through the water. So there's a couple of different ways to go about it. I mean, back in the old go-karting days on slicks, you'd pump the tyres up and you'd have this like 20-cent piece of contact patch, but that's how you used to go about making the car work. So yeah, look, obviously each of these teams will go about their different ways of doing what they want to do. Standing the camber up, again, you don't get the roll in the car, so you're trying to get that tyre to work. So other guys may try having a very low tyre pressure to get the tyre to move and then generate a lot more temperature, which in these conditions, temperature is the thing you're looking for.
So lap 7 of 18, still behind the Porsche safety car. James Duckworth is your leader. Joel Heinrich second. Blake Skibberus is third. Then Ben Walsh. Kel Tressida runs in 5th now, made up 7 positions in the first few laps. Craig Woods is next. Jay Robson in 7. Don't know if he's going to get the hat-trick of wins today, but you never know in the final few laps. Reece Chapman is in 8th position. Lee Bowler back to 9th. And Jeff Waters completes the top 10.
So what we know from Aussie race cars is they run with that side-by-side, 2-line formation to almost a rolling start type setup when they go for a restart. We're single file at the moment. The guys are trying to warm the tyres up, keep that brake temp up. All that ducting that they've got under the bonnet there runs towards the brakes and ensures that during the course of a dry race, the brake, when they get on the brakes, the temperature's where they want it. So in these conditions, they've got to try and keep that temp up. Passenger on board.
Poor old mate wants to escape. He's behind bars at the moment in Michael Renken's car.
He's going, are you kidding? I want out. I want out.
He's stuck on the side of the track there. Tough break for Renken. He's out of this race. Still another one to come today. This our reverse top 15, or today was a top 14 with Chris Stevenson copying an 8th grid spot penalty for that incident with Kel Tressida yesterday. It'll be a 14-lap race later on, and dare I say, it might be in even wetter conditions later on. The big storm cell coming down towards Symmons Plains from Melbourne, which was battered with thunderstorms late last night.
So on this restart, the lights are out. So here we go. We're forming up now for the restart. And what we've seen over the course of the wet racing this weekend is quite often the outside line, the old, what they refer to as the go-kart line, is the way to go. And that's where Joel Heinrich's sitting at the moment. The last corner where you're trying to get grip, he's actually on the prime spot to get the best start here.
So it's the champ up against the rookie coming around for the restart here. 7 laps in the books. This will be lap 8, and Heinrich going to the outside. Rows of 2, a couple of stragglers towards the back of the field, but we're back underway and heading down to turn number 1. Look at the water on this circuit. Duckworth has got the better line because Heinrich has found puddles on the outside, needs to shut the door. He's going to go side by side with the RDA brakes entry. We'll take split screen and look at Duckworth hard at work as he slots back to 2nd place now.
There you go, the outside lanes work really well for Heinrich there. Duckworth hard on the gas. He's not letting this one go. We saw him yesterday down the inside here and outbrake himself a little. So, in the background, there's a bit of aquaplaning going on as they arrive at the braking zone. Duckworth goes high, Heinrich high. Now Heinrich will get the good run onto the back straight, and with that toe, he'll put himself in a prime position now to take the lead.
They stayed in the rows of 2, pretty much up to turn 4, and now last year's champion leads a guy who's debuting in this year's series, running in 2nd. Could he get his first win in his first event?
Trying to find the bit of water, bit of racetrack without the most water on it. It's very difficult, obviously. And Duckworth under brakes. That car's sliding all over the road. He's managed to pull it up. The pressure's on now. He had an 8-second gap. Now the field's with him. Skibberus on the inside. He's going to try the inside line. Can he get through? No, he can't get on the throttle. Heinrich runs the high line. This is all about exploring and finding where you go. Oh, Duckworth!
No. Are you serious? That was incredible.
This is awesome stuff. What a great way to start the day.
That is the best camera angle we've got on the track right now, coming down to turn number 1. And Heinrich this time. He's almost needing a snorkel out there. Coming down to turn number 4. That's Blake Skibberus trying to open the door on Joel Heinrich, who's driving it right down the middle.
The vision would be horrendous out of these cars at the moment. You can even see Woods in the background there. He's got no screen, you can't see. Down the inside, Robson on Tressida. Bit of contact, Rubbin's racing, they're on, and they're managed to get over. Walsh said, look at his windscreen, he can't see anything. He's driving by Braille at the moment.
Wow. That's all I can say in race number 3. We're halfway home. If anything, it's getting a little bit wetter out there. Heading down to turn number 6. And there's Woods going down the inside of Walsh. So that's 6th and 7th. Just gets it done, but it's a big puddle. He's avoided it this time around. Now they come down to the cool part of the Symmons Plains Raceway, down into turn number 1. So Duckworth out to 0.8 of a second. Back to Heinrich. Skibberus still 3rd, and Robson, the top 4.
Splashing through the puddles, it's just unbelievable. There's Charlotte Pointing having a moment in turn 6, gathering it all up, see if she can get back on without getting that car bogged.
Found the gravel trap yesterday, didn't she? She was filthy about that. She had a solid run in the first race, and seemed to see the raindrops on the visor of the young lady from Newcastle.
He's trying to find a way around the back of Joel Heinrich. He's certainly looking a bit racier, but he's got to work out how he can get around the outside here. Yes, he can. So this will put him in a good position to get the run onto the back straight. Now he's going to be on the... Heinrich trying to get the power down. That's affected him. So now Skibberus all the way through to P2. What a great drive that is.
Don't think Heinrich's done with him yet, is he? He pulls back into the slipstream and getting absolutely coated in rain at nearly 170 kilometres per hour down to turn number 6. So Skibberus, as he did yesterday, looking for a solid result and set sail, if I can use that terminology, around this Symmons Plains Raceway after James Duckworth. The gap is 1.1 seconds.
Again, running that high line, these guys, they've worked out where the grip is available to them. So what happens when you run that high line? It's not the part of the road where it's normally used, so the bitumen's a little bit more coarse, if you like. And then, Kel Tressida's made a bit of a blue there. He's run a little bit wide. He's managed to keep it on the track. And also, you're not as turning the tyre as much, therefore you're not asking as much of the tyre. So quite often, it's a bit of a go-kart trick. You run the high line, and these days you see the F1 cars and the supercar guys doing the same thing. There's one of those problems.
That's Brendan Tucker having a bit of a pit stop down here to get some vision back aboard car number 4. He started from pole position, and that's Walsh.
There goes Walsh.
Huge speed, touched the fence, and now into the gravel. And that will bring out the safety car.
It's well and truly buried now. He's not going to get out of there. So obviously under brakes, had a bit of a moment, and it's ended up in the fence, glanced off the fence and sailed through. Luckily it didn't clean anyone else up. At that point in time, Blake Skibberus was actually closing on Duckworth. He's gone the fastest lap. So obviously the trying conditions out there, very difficult to try and keep the car on the track.
He had a moment on the previous lap, didn't he? And this is Robson. So Robson's gone off on the gravel down at turn number 6. So conditions almost undrivable, you'd think, out there. He's gone off a long way into that gravel trap.
And he's gone off under safety car too, so that's a little bit disappointing. He won't be able to regroup and overtake, so he'll be able to gather up at the back there, but he's rejoining now well down the field. Here's that replay.
Exactly what he did on the previous lap, except this time he didn't get away with it. And look how quick he goes past us here and underneath Kel Tressida and into the gravel. Huge moment from the man from Noosa. Watch this down the middle. And just to get on the brakes, you are a total passenger, aren't you?
Oh, so close.
Reaction time award going to our marshal down there.
That's, as you say, he's obviously just hit the puddle, a bit of aquaplaning. Rears let go as soon as he's got on the brakes. And you can see a puddle, he's just gone through that puddle there. And away you go, you're just holding on, hoping not to hit anything. Very lucky.
Watch him, Dak, on the left-hand side here. Down he goes. And that's the shower he was looking for last night.
We saw Greg Murphy. We saw Greg Murphy down there yesterday, standing in that position, doing some reporting. So we're lucky Murph wasn't down there today.
Yeah.
Would have got showered.
Unbelievable. Lap 12 of 18 and heading towards time certain finish here with 10:43 plus 1 lap. And Walsh well and truly buried. Here's what happened to Jay Robson, the 6-star entry, car number 98.
Again, locking those rears. You're out on that shiny bit of road, lock the rears under brakes, and that's enough. Once it goes, you're just holding on. And he was very lucky there to get that out of the gravel trap, I can assure you that.
Here's the super slow-mo shots. Duckworth getting sideways. The car's just snapping sideways. He's not alone. Look at Heinrich.
Awesome car control there. He's just got that car floating on top of the surface in complete control. He knows what's going on. He's very confident with it. Current champion. He knows the car well, and that is just brilliant to watch.
So again, our hard-working track crew have been busy, particularly after yesterday's big incident in the supercars race. Are on the job down here, and that's Walsh outside the car now. Gives you a bit of a reference to how small these cars are.
Yeah, we alluded to that yesterday. Now, whilst everything's scaled, if you like, in an Aussie race car, one thing that's not's the curbs and obviously the puddles. So it certainly affects these cars a lot. You can see him working hard to get that car out of there. A bit of gravel, hopefully not a lot of damage. It looked like it didn't hit the fence too hard, just a glancing blow. So he'll be able to get that car repaired and out for the final race of the weekend.
And the official was like, take him away, boys. He's back in the car.
Thing out of there.
Be a lot drier than where he was outside. Gives the windscreen a bit of a wipe. Might be able to get going here.
So they're pulling it straight up out of the way so we can get this race restarted as quick as we possibly can.
He's decided, let's sit this one out. It's too wet out there now. A shame. He brought his way up towards the top 6 there before having that big moment. He'd been threatening to do that. He had a moment on the pit straight, or front curve as we've been calling it this weekend. And then the second time on the straight down to turn 4, it came unstuck at huge speed and put him into the gravel. And the second time the Porsche safety car is out. So we're going to get a one-lap screamer here, Barks.
Yeah, well, obviously time certain finish, so they won't get the full 18 laps in. We'll get that safety car lights out. The field will gather up again. Now, what we did see on that first safety car restart is the outside lane, if you like, where Blake Skibberus is actually sitting at the moment, is the perfect place to be on the safety car restart. So if he can get a very good run onto the straight, there's a chance here he can get in front of Duckworth and hold on what will be a one-lap screamer towards the end.
So the Porsche safety car pulls away from the field and back into the rows of 2 once again.
Field spread out a little bit there. The safety car lights are out, so the rest of the field will want to catch up a little bit if they want to play and be part of the action. Craig Woods there sitting on the outside as well, with Heinrich doing a great job on his debut. Kel Tressiter and Chapman's in there as well. So Kel Tressiter very quick over the course of the weekend, but clearly having vision problems in that car in these conditions.
So here it comes. Back to the restart. It's one lap. We'll see a whole load of action here. Restart number 2 of race 3 of the Aussie racing cars at the very slippery Symmons Plains today is back underway. And Duckworth gets the advantage already as he squirms his way like a fish down to turn number 1.
They held that start a long time, the green flag, so the field was pretty even as they come onto the straight. And they've got through a little bit of contact there. But they've got through. Skibberus now got a good run on Duckworth. Can he get the job done under brakes? This is the last lap. He looks to the outside. This is where Ben Walsh had the problem.
Duckworth down the middle. He's going to make Skibberus go the long way around. He's going to run out of track here. And now they'll go side by side. So he had to have a go there because he's got one realistic chance remaining unless Duckworth makes a mistake.
And here comes that toe. Even in these conditions, the way it works is even better. So all of a sudden, we've got Skibberus now having a look. Oh, sideways down the back straight. They're hard on the throttle. They don't want to give an inch. Who's going to let this one go? They're both
last chance.
Duckworth gone. No, he's got it. No, he's gone. It's all over.
He's gone this time.
The pressure was on.
And he is going to right down to the bottom of the top 10. But meantime, DJ Skibbs, as he's known as, is mixing and mashing it up and takes the win in a rain-sodden race number 3.
That was brilliant stuff. Down the end of that back straight, Skibberus putting the pressure on, and Duckworth made that small mistake, and that's all it took. And he's gone. He's trying to recover now to get back on the track. What a great race towards the end there. All it takes is one screamer of a lap.
And right down to the 15. He's going to struggle to even get back on the track here.
Yeah, I think he's cooked.
What a shame. The pressure got to him in the end, and Skibberus breaks through for a win in the Aussie racing cars. It becomes our 5th different winner of the season. I love one-lap dashes.
Oh, the pressure, the pressure. It was great to see. Both of them were absolutely on the limit, but it was Blake Skibberus that held on and got the job done. From Joel Heinrich, what a great job for the rookie on his first weekend to be that close to the front. Jay Robson, Kel Tressiter, Stevenson, Chapman, Waters, and make out your top 10. So that's fantastic racing.
And Duckworth down to 17th after all that. He's still trying to limp across the line in race number 3. Congratulations to this guy, Blake Skibberus. He put the pressure on after starting 14th in this race. Breaks through. Here's the replay of what happened at the final turn.
Right on the limit. You can see both these cars trying to find a way to get the brakes on. Duckworth had it. The rear stepped out, and it was just too much. He just couldn't get it stopped on the outside on the shiny stuff. And once you hit the green, you're off and running. There's nothing you can do. But it was that battle that really started on that restart on the exit. That was side by side. Skibberus got the toe, and that created the pressure down into turn 6.
Well driven to everybody in that field. It was polluted with a couple of safety cars, and yeah, disgusted with what's happened. 17th place, and big damage to his points haul this weekend for our defending champ.